It's recording, okay. Hey guys, I'm doing another reaction. Mr. Nightmare again, this time to 3 did true Ding Dong Horror Stories.
Now all I need is my 1-power readers. They adjust for me and everything I need to read.
I wear a 1.0.
I wear 2.5. We have reading glasses all over the house.
With 1-power readers, we can share the same pair and still both read clearly.
One questionable activity my old friends and I would partake in when we were young was Ding Dong Ditch, where you run up to someone's door, knock or ring the bell, then run away or hide.
I used to do that all the time.
We'd do it from time to time when we were feeling mischievous or bored.
Yeah, I used to do
At the time, someone moved across the street from my friend Stefan, who lived a block down from me.
Yeah.
He kept telling us how sketchy it seemed. No one would ever see them leave their house. The blinds were always closed at every window, and there were never any lights on. Yet there was always a red Toyota pickup truck in the driveway all hours of the day.
Really?
No one really seemed to know who was living there or what they looked like. So one night we thought it would be a good idea to target it while we were out Ding Dong ditching. My friend Jake and I hid behind a nearby car while Stefan ran up to the door. We could tell he rang the bell like 5 times, and we chuckled because of it. He finally ran for cover in a bush separating that property from the neighboring property. We waited for the door to open. Alas, it never did. So Stefan ran back to the door and rang it a bunch more times, probably closer to like 10 rings this time.
Oh gosh.
As he ran for his same hiding spot, I noticed the curtains to one of the front windows move a little bit. I didn't see anyone's face, but that confirmed someone was inside the house. The door never opened, but Jake and I were afraid to yell over to him not to do it again. Stefan never looked over at us, so he never even gave us a chance to wave at him to stop there. He waited half a minute before going back to the door. But I swear, before he could even ring the bell, the door pulled open, and all Jake and I saw was someone's arm reach out from the house to grab Stefan.
Oh gosh.
He screamed a high-pitched scream like a girl. Jake and I looked at each other with horrified looks on our faces.
What if he
Stefan
screamed
managed to
because
break
he had a
free from the
Halloween
grip
mask
and
on?
continued screaming as he ran past us across the street to his house.
Why are you screaming out loud?
The front door to the house slammed shut. No one came out chasing after us.
As usual?
We followed Stefan to his house, and as soon as we got inside, I told him that was a horrible idea. Now that person would know they were neighbors.
Exactly.
He said he didn't care. He
Really?
told his parents about it,
Don't
who
care?
at first were mad at us, but sounded a bit concerned after some explaining about the aggressive way the man inside the house tried pulling him in.
Yeah, exactly.
Still, neither of his parents wanted to go
Child
knock on the
molester?
door, considering we were Ding Dong ditching after all.
Yeah.
Jake went home. I stayed over
Knock
Stefan's
on the
house to
door.
sleep over. His parents always
If you
complained
knock
about
on-
us being too loud after they went to
Knock
sleep.
on the door,
So we
and then
hung out
you
in his
then
backyard.
something it's just something.
We were playing
It's just
Pokemon on our
not.
DSs for a while and talked more about what happened across the street.
Yeah.
He said he didn't see much of the man's face, and he was pretty well hidden behind the door, but he could tell it was a man by his veiny hands and strength. The man grabbed him by the collar of his shirt, so Stefan was able to free himself from the man's grip pretty easily. At some point while in the yard, I remember hearing a thump kind of noise. But I didn't
What was
even feel
that?
like it was worth bringing up to Stefan. I just made a mental
Am I
note of it,
gonna
and
get
maybe he
mentioned
did
that?
too, who knows. Eventually it got too chilly to sit outside anymore.
It would.
We were getting a little tired, so we went back inside.
Yeah, go back inside.
We noticed it was a lot chillier on the first floor than it had been before we went outside.
Yeah.
Stefan realized why fairly quickly.
Why?
The sliding
Window?
dining room window was open all the
Of
way.
course, yeah,
and a
of
breeze
course.
of cold air was pouring in.
Of
But
course
his
it's
parents
always.
definitely didn't open that. Something wasn't right.
Yeah.
There was
that?
the sound of a footstep or something falling on the carpeted floor above us in Stefan's room. It set him off screaming for his parents. The house has a very open layout, so of course they heard him and came rushing out of their room, confused and worried as hell.
Yeah, I would.
We pointed at the open window, then said someone's in his room upstairs. His dad ran downstairs to grab the biggest kitchen knife they had and ran back upstairs as we all waited in
It
fear
was
for something
obviously
to happen
gone by
upstairs.
then.
His mom hugged us and tried to comfort us while she called the police. Stefan's dad started to scream. Not like a scared scream or a scream out of pain, but more so an angry scream.
Oh.
We waited downstairs until the cops showed up, and they went up to Stefan's room. What actually happened is so disturbing. As anyone could guess,
Yeah.
the break-in point was the window.
Oh no.
Stefan's dad checked his son's room and heard something in the closet.
Was it
Upon
the
opening
guy?
it, someone tried to lunge at him, but he immediately got
Oh
one
no,
good
get
stab
up,
at
get
the
off me,
person.
get off me.
But we found out minutes later that it
First
was
of
the
all,
neighbor from
why?
across the street. How we knew was because Stefan instantly recognized the white sleeves he was wearing and the scab
Do not use if pregnant.
on his hand. The man was as scary looking as we imagined.
Yeah, he
Stefan's
is.
family got a restraining order against the man and refused to live across the street from him any
It
longer.
moved.
They moved within a few months to a house in the same town.
Good job. Picked wrong, right choice. You've probably been robbed by that strange man. You've probably been robbed by that strange man.
I can see everything, even the other ingredients. I mean, folic
Alright,
acid,
time to get into story 2.
even the smaller prints at the bottom, they're great.
This is a story that happened a few days ago.
Oh.
My friends and I really like to do some crazy things, such as ding-dong ditching, which is what we were doing on Friday night. I'll refer to my friends as C, B, E, A, and Ben. There was this one corner house on an opening to a cul-de-sac. My friend E said I should ring the bell.
What?
So I did it because I was not the kind
First
of...
off, why are all your friends named letters? That is so weird. I don't know if you nicknames in that. If that's the real names, that is so weird. Just saying. Just saying.
person to not do something just because they might get in trouble for it.
Oh.
So I walked up to the stoop and knocked on the door and ran. We ran maybe 3 houses down behind a car so we could still get a good view of the house we
Do you
just
think he's
did.
gonna come down there all the
The
way?
guy came outside, walked around,
He's
and I think
furious.
spotted either myself, E, or Ben. So he screamed hey at us, and we ran
Hey!
like normal if this happened. We all laughed it off like we usually would.
Yeah.
Then we all agreed like a bunch of idiots that we would do the same house again. So we walked around the street to the house, and we all debated who should ring. I didn't because I just did like the last 3 houses. So we all agreed Ben should do it. So there went Ben up to the door, knocked, and ran. C, B, and A were on the corner of the street along with Ben after he rang, while me and E were behind a car right across the street from the house. It was like he was waiting right
So
at the
E,
door,
B, and
because
B,
only about
and
5
F,
seconds
F,
after
F,
Ben rang the bell, he came sprinting outside.
Oh
He got to
gosh,
the bottom
run.
of his driveway and screamed, "Hey, come here. Come here
Run.
now."
Go, 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 go.
That was my cue to run, so I sprinted as fast as I could to the corner and around the block.
Wait.
I kept on sprinting until I caught up to Ben,
God,
C, A, and
you need to go for real.
we had walked about the whole street gathering our thoughts when A pointed out that E was missing.
I don't know
We
where's
all
he
looked at
at.
each other, obviously very worried for him. We called him and he picked up out of breath and was demanding us to go back to the house because he was chasing him. So we went about halfway down the street, still on the phone with E, and then he dropped the bomb. The man had a gun.
What? He had a
This because
gun.
he said he heard the man scream,
He
"I'm
was
gonna
only
blow
gonna
your
kill your
fucking brains
shoe,
out."
man.
I actually began to tear up. We were all very worried for E. After about 5 minutes of E telling us to go back to the house, we made it to A's backyard and waited for E to make it back. He was saying he was very close, so we walked out of the backyard and there he was.
He's
We all
there.
hugged him and were so grateful he was okay. We all went to A's backyard afterwards to talk about what happened. The first thing he said
He was
was that he got
gone?
the whole thing on video, so he showed us.
Through the video. Who's he chasing after? Hey, it's second guy. Hey, come here.
Hey, come here now! Come here now! Come here!
Go run. What's he doing? Run. Yeah, run. He's scared of the dude. I'm trying to do something right now.
So what happened that I was completely
I'm trying to
unaware
do
of
something right
was
now.
that when I ran away from behind the car, the man started chasing me. Then he apparently got up and ran the opposite way, kind of putting the man in a pickle as to who he wanted to go after.
Yeah, I'm with you.
He chose E, and he ran from him almost all the way down the street before hiding under a car until he felt it was safe to run back.
Nobody.
This was the most insane night of my life, and I couldn't thank E enough, because if it weren't for him, who knows what that guy would have done to me if he had caught up.
Yeah.
Reading glasses can provide the right correction to so many people. We brought in nationally recognized optometrist Dr. Alon Edgerton. Welcome back, Doctor.
Now, Doctor, please tell us the secret.
I was a very sheltered child, and I didn't really start going out until college, really. High school, I kind of never really went out much. So when the opportunity to do something slightly rebellious came about, I would jump on it.
No.
My cousin Rob, who was infinitely cooler than me, would hang out with me in my days before college. He'd always be down to go out and get into trouble. There was this one time he called me and told me to meet him at his house. We'd be going ding-dong ditching. I brought along my flashlight
What do
just
you
because it was dark
want?
and there weren't many streetlights in my old neighborhood. He also brought along 2 walkie-talkies and handed me one. Houses were also a little further between than your typical suburb. Rob led the way down the road, yelling things, hitting stop signs with his hands. He always had a lot more energy than me. We veered off the street and cut through some trees onto someone's property. There was nothing but a single walkway lamp on. No lights on inside or outside the house. Rob told me to run around back and wait for his signal to ring the backyard bell. He was trying to make the homeowner run back and forth, not knowing where to go.
I'm doing something right now.
He tested the walkie-talkies and they were all good. I waited in the backyard of this property. It was extremely dark and quiet back there. To be honest, I was really scared. Rob gave the go-ahead to ring right after he rang the bell a bunch of times. I rang it twice, then ran for cover behind a bush. I waited in that bush and walkie-talkied Rob, seeing if anyone had come out front. Negative. I told him it was looking the same in the back. After a minute, he told me to go to the back door. I looked into the huge back window to see if I could see inside. There was this tall-looking piece of furniture right in front of the window, and there was this red flashing light in one corner of the room. That was about all I could see. Rob rang the bell a bunch of times again. I heard it from where I was crouching. It was my turn. I rang the bell a couple times, which, yes, had a different sound, so you could distinguish the two. I ran back to my bush and waited again. Rob said over the walkie-talkie that